tired of getting like punched in your nose, slapped in your face from your prospects, even in the first 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes of the sales calls or appointments you're in? Well, if that's you, today I'm going to give you 4, count them 4, scientifically proven questions that actually trigger your prospect to open up to you and want to engage and put you on the path to building massive trust in that prospect's brain. First of all, go down to the bottom of this video, hit the subscribe button. That's probably important for you. Hit the subscribe button, and to the right of that, or maybe the left, I don't know, somewhere in there, there's like a little bell. That's your notifications button. Hit the notifications button as well so you get notified by YouTube every time I post a new training video, which I typically do 2 to 4 times a week. All right? Now, these are called NEPQ. Okay, I'm going to change my thing up here a little bit thicker. These are called NEPQ connecting questions. All right? Now, connecting questions. Now, if you're not familiar with the NEPQ methodology, that stands for Neuro Emotional Persuasion Questioning. All right? So the first part of that is connecting questions. So how do we take the focus off you in a conversation and get it onto that prospect like right in the first few seconds? That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, realize this is Behavioral Science 101. Within the first 7 to 12 seconds of any sales interaction you're in. Now, I don't care if you sell door to door, if you sell B2C in a prospect's home or on Zoom virtually, or if you maybe are in more of a complex selling environment, B2B, and you're selling in an office or maybe virtually as well on Zoom. Your prospects are picking up on your social cues, okay, based on your tonality. So your verbal and nonverbal cues based on your tonality, your body language, and what you are saying and or asking that actually is triggering their brain to respond and react in one of 2 ways. Okay, this is very scary if you don't know the difference. Now, if you come across aggressive in the first part of that conversation, you know what I mean by that. If you come across overly excited, okay, you're enthusiastic, okay, and I'm not saying boring, but you come across too excited, and you come across needy and attached, that's no bueno, and you don't understand the right questions asked, especially with the right tone, it actually triggers the human brain to go into what's called fight or flight mode. Now, everybody's heard that, right? You've heard that, but do you know what's triggering it in your prospect's brain? Okay, there's certain things you're saying or in how you're saying it that's triggering them to react that way. And that's when the prospect says, like if you're cold calling, not interested, we already have somebody for that. Or if you get onto an inbound lead or something like that, or an outbound lead, they're like, oh, we already have somebody for that. Or, you know what, I don't have a lot of time for your questions. Just tell me how much it's going to cost and I'll tell you if I'm interested. Or, you know what, I don't have a lot of time. Can you just email me a quote or email me a proposal and I'll get back to you, okay? How many of you go through that? All right, now I'm going to show you how to eliminate that today. Okay, now, once you learn what we call NEPQ, even with these 4 questions I'm going to give you today, it's going to give you a start. You're going to notice when you come across more, let's say, unbiased, more neutral, like you're not quite sure if you can even help yet. You don't know what's going on. You don't know anything about their situation. You're not saying that exactly, but that's the vibe you're coming across, okay? You come across more collective, more calm, and especially detached. That's the key word. Detached. And you understand the right questions to ask, which I'm going to give you some samples here, and you understand the right tone, it triggers their brain to become curious enough where they actually want to engage. They want to open up to you because they feel comfortable enough. Okay? They don't feel like you're a threat to them. You're not triggering fight or flight mode. All right? So I'm going to give you some examples of how that works today with these connecting questions. Let's go to the next page here. All right? Now, let's say in this example, I'm going to give you an example of calling outbound leads. And then I'm going to give you an example of calling inbound leads. So in our definition, we train 158 different industries on planet Earth. Pretty much every industry that is out there except underwater basket weaving. If you know somebody in underwater basket weaving, let us know. I'm joking. All right. So in those industries, an outbound lead to us and most of our clients means somebody has responded to an ad, maybe on Facebook, YouTube, Google, whatever, or they've called in to your company and left their information and they're wanting somebody to call them back. Now, they don't know who's calling back or when, but they've left their name, email, and phone number. Somebody they know is calling them back. That is considered an outbound lead. Or maybe your company buys leads from lead vendors that have expressed some type of interest in what you're doing, some way, and you're calling them back. That's considered an outbound lead, not cold calling, all right? I'll give cold calling examples at a different time. Now, inbound leads in our book is somebody that's booked on your calendar, all right? Maybe they booked on your calendar, you're going to show up on Zoom with them or some type of app, virtual app, or maybe they booked on the calendar for you to come to their home or to their office building, whatever you sell, either B2C or B2B. So this first example I'm going to give you is an outbound lead example. Now I'm going to give you the framework here, but I'm going to show you in a couple of different industry specific examples so you can see how that structure works like, okay? Doesn't matter what you sell, I can pretty much assure you that we are training tons of salespeople and or companies in your industry that are making 2, 3, 5 times what you're making right now because of what I'm about to show you, along with other things as well, okay? So I'm gonna go through this and then I'm gonna role play with it so you can actually hear my tonality, because that's very important, all right? So let's say that this is an outbound lead, okay? And you're calling them, in this example, let's say you sell B2B. So you're mainly selling to like SMB type of companies, like smaller companies. And let's say in this example, you're a lead vendor and you're selling leads to those companies, and their biggest problem is maybe the quality of their leads they're getting now is not so good. Maybe they're not getting enough leads. It could be a lot of various factors, right? So we're gonna tie in that to our opening statement. So we're gonna call them, okay? Yeah, hi, is Mary there? Oh, hey Mary, it's just John Smith with XYZ Company. You had recently responded to one of our ads. It looks like it was yesterday morning. I think you maybe saw something on YouTube about getting a higher quality lead to like your salespeople so that you could like scale and grow the business, right? Okay, that's a question. They're gonna be like, yeah, right, or yeah, I think I did. I'm not quite sure. Okay, then you're gonna go, now, hey, I was curious, like when you went through the ad, or when you saw the ad where you saw X and Y and Z, point out something they would have saw in the ad, where you saw X and Y and Z, what was it about the ad that attracted your attention? Okay, see how that works? Now, I'll give you another example of how to start this out. There's different examples that we use on different industries. Hey, is this Mary? Hey, yeah, Mary, it's just John Smith with XYZ Company. It looks like you had asked us to call you back. You responded to one of our ads. It looks like it was this morning about getting a higher quality lead to your salespeople so you could grow the business. And I just had time to get back to you to see if I could help. Did I get you at a bad time? You never want to say, did I get you a good time? Okay, because a lot of people are like, no, you got me at a bad time. But if I say, did I get you at a bad time? Most of the time, they're like, no, it's not a bad time. Or I can say, did I get you at an appropriate time? Or if you don't want to use that because you haven't learned the right tonality, you can do this so that you could really grow and scale the business. Now, I should probably start off by asking you, have you found what you're looking for, or are you still looking for like a higher quality lead so you could really grow the company? Oh, no, I'm still looking. Okay, and do you know what you're looking for? See, there's different examples of how you can do that outbound lead. Or you can do what I just showed you right here. Now, let's go to the next page. So after we do that, those are the first two connecting questions. We then want to establish what's called a status frame. This is an NEPQ, okay, status frame. Now, this is very important because a lot of times salespeople, and really in any industry we found, B2C and B2B, is they'll set some type of frame, right? Where they say, and towards the end of the call, you know, if you find that this fits into what you're looking for and we feel you're a good fit for our company, you know, we can do X, Y, Z. Now, the problem is that most salespeople are saying that on every single sales call, okay? So when you say, and we'll see if you're a good fit for our company, do you really believe your prospects believe if they hand you their credit card and say, I want to buy it, I'll buy it, whatever it costs? You're like, nope, you're not a good fit for our company. We're going to have to not accept your money. Everybody knows that that's not the reality. So when you say things like that, it actually triggers them to trust you less. You lower your status in their brain. So we still want to have a frame where they know that there could be possible next steps at the end. We don't want them to think that they can just think about it for months on end, right? Now, if you're selling B2B, it's a little bit different. I'm going to show you a couple tweaks there as well, all right? So after you do that last connecting question, you're going to go back. Yeah, and really, John, the first part of this call, it's pretty basic. It's really more for us to find about, let's start that over. So you'll start right here. So yeah, John, the first part of this call, it's really basic. It's really more for us to find out kind of, what you do to generate leads now, and like the quality of that lead and kind of the results you're getting from it compared to the results that you're really after, just to see what that gap looks like, to see if we can help. And then towards the end of the call, if you'd like, I can go over some different options. And if you feel that it might be what you're looking for, we can talk about possible next steps. Would that help you? Now, let me analyze and break down what I just did there. This is really important, okay? So we're just going to say the first part of this call, the first part of this meeting is pretty basic. Now, why would I want to downplay it, okay? I want to downplay it because I want to lower their resistance. If I get into like assumptive mode, especially if I'm selling a high-priced item, it's maybe a little bit different. You're selling a $5, subscription to a magazine. It's a little bit different, more transactional sales. I want to get them to let their guard down. So when I downplay things, it relaxes the prospect, okay? It triggers them. When I downplay something, they more upplay it, like they up it. When I upplay it and get excited, most people downplay it. It's just the way human behavior works. When we push, people push back, right? See how that works? It's pretty basic. It's more for us to find out kind of what you do to, now, in this example, this is the same framework for any industry. I'm just showing you an industry-specific example so you can see the break. So it's really how to generate, what you're doing to generate leads now, like the quality of the lead, the volume, and then what type of results you're getting compared to what you want to be at, so we can kind of see what that gap looks like. Did you see? So even if I'm calling on the phone and they can't see me, I still want to use these hand movements because it affects what? It affects my tone. It affects the way my voice is being portrayed to that prospect. If I just sit there and do it like this, I sound like a scripted robot. Now, especially if they can see you. Let's say you're on Zoom virtually, they can see you, you're in their home, maybe you're in their office building or on the door, it doesn't matter. You especially want them to start visualizing in their mind that gap. So I'm already starting to do that. Now notice my hand signals. I'm going to show you this again. Like the type of leads that you're getting now, the type of leads you're getting now, let's go back here. So kind of how you generate leads now, like the quality of those leads, kind of the results you might be getting. See how I'm lowering that? The results you might be getting compared to the results that you want to be at. See how I just built that gap visually in their brain? Just so we can kind of see what that gap looks like to see if we can help. And then, now this is important here. Notice how I'm going to be neutral here. I'm not going to be overly assumptive because you haven't built any trust and credibility in the first 45 seconds of a conversation. It'd be impossible to. So what you want to do here, and then towards the end of the call, if you feel that it might be, see, might be is a neutral word, 2 words. Might be what you're looking for. We can talk about possible next steps. See how possible is a neutral word, okay? That triggers them to let their guard down. Nobody's ever going to say, nope, it would not be appropriate to talk about possible next steps. Like, they're not going to say that, okay? If I assume, and towards the end of the call, if you feel like you really, really want this and it's a good fit, I'm going to show you how to pay us, then that triggers more resistance. Whoa, I didn't say I was going to buy yet. That's what you'll get with a lot of prospects, especially A-type personalities, right? This lowers their guard. Now, let's move into that last connecting question. Now, I was curious, like, what were you hoping to get out of the call with us today, just so I have a better understanding? What were you hoping? Yeah, and what were you hoping to get out of the call with us today, just so I have a better understanding? Well, I just want to know what the options are, maybe the price points. They might say that. Oh, yeah, and just agree. Oh, yeah, we'll go through all that for sure. Now, just so you're aware, we don't have like, one price point, one package. There's multiple different options. And once I, probably ask a few questions around, what you're using now and the results you're getting compared to where you want to be, once I understand that, I can go over the different options we have for our clients if that helps you. And they're going to, yeah, sure, go ahead, all right? That's for an outbound lead. Now I'm going to show you the difference with an inbound lead, okay? This is a little bit different here. Let's say that you're on Zoom in this example, right? It's a little bit different if you're in the office or the home. You're not going to say, hey, can you hear me? Yeah, can you see me? Right? That's what you would do virtually. You would say that. And then instead of asking like, oh, how are you doing today? Oh, good. Yeah, and where do you live? Oh, you live in Atlanta? Yeah, I live here in Dallas, Texas. Like, I love Atlanta. I was there 2 weeks ago with my daughter. See, your prospects know that you are genuinely not interested in how their damn day's going. Now, you might be one out of a million salespeople that really are interested in how their day's going and want to hear them for the next 20 minutes, but your prospects don't believe you are. And why is that? Because they're used to every salesperson who's ever tried to sell them anything ask them, how are you doing today? Or how your day's going. With most prospects, just so you know, psychologically, the data shows that they trust you less when you ask questions that every other salesperson always asks them, because they associate you with all the negative experiences they've always had with salespeople. You don't want to be in that camp, right? If you want to make the sale. So what you're going to do, hey, can you hear me? Okay, I can hear you. You look down at your notes and you say, okay, so, all right, John, so, welcome to be on here with me today. It looks like you had booked on the calendar. And let's say in this example, you sell life insurance or mortgage protection. So I'm giving you a couple different industry-specific examples so you can just see how it works, okay? Just plug that in with what you sell. Okay, it looks like you had booked on the calendar about looking at possible financial protection for like your mortgage and your family when something does happen to you, right? And they'll be like, right. So looks like you had booked on the calendar about looking at possible, we're going to say financial protection for that industry, for your home and family when something does happen to you, right? So I'm associating the call with the end result. Remember, we have to get each of your prospects to go from cost or price-based thinking to results-based thinking. And that's when you can sell a lot more. If they're thinking results-based thinking over price or cost, it's easy to sell. If you get them into cost or price-based thinking, you're going to get a lot of money objections. You don't want to have to get into that chasing mode. You don't have to, okay? They're going to say, yeah, right. Now, if it's on a phone call, if you're calling, it's a little bit different for an inbound lead. Hey, is John there? Yeah, John, it's just James Taylor calling you. You had asked us to call. It looks like you had booked now on the calendar about looking at possible financial protection for like your mortgage payment every month and the family when something does happen to you, right? See how I'm curious? I'm calm, I'm relaxed, I'm not overly enthusiastic, but I'm not boring. You have to be there in the middle. Now, here's where we're going to go into the frame for an inbound lead. All right, yeah, and John, I would say the first part of the meeting, I mean, it's pretty basic. It's really more for us to find out, what you might be eligible for, like kind of maybe what you have in place now when something does happen to you, compared to what you might be looking for as far as like, coverage for the family, just to see what that gap looks like, to see if we can help. And then, towards the end of the call, I can go over some options if you want me to. And if you feel that it might be what you're looking for, we can talk about possible next steps. Does that help you? Yeah, sure. What do you have? Okay. Same thing. First part of this call meeting's pretty basic. It's really more for us to find out what you might be eligible for. Now, look at my hands. Find out what you might be eligible for, kind of what you have in place now compared to what you might be looking for. Notice how I'm building a gap with my hands, okay? So we can see what that gap looks like to see if we can help. And then towards the end of the call, I can go over some options if you'd like. And if you feel that it might be what you're looking for, notice, might be what you're looking for again, we can discuss possible next steps. Does that help you? Possible next steps. See how we're doing it? Now we're going into the next two questions. Now, I was curious though, before I kind of ask you about what you have now, when you went through the letter that you got in the mail, or when you saw the ad online, what was it that you saw, I guess, that really attracted your attention? You're asking it in a curious tone. Well, I saw and I liked and blah, 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 blah. Ah, okay. And what were you hoping to get out of the call with us today, just so I have a better understanding? See, 4 scientifically proven connecting NPQ questions that trigger your prospect to let their guard down. Now, we call that the ABDs of selling. Always be disarming. Okay, that stands for always be disarming. How do we get the prospect to let their guard down where they become open to a two-way conversation, all right? So there you have it. There's 4 scientifically proven NPQ connecting questions for inbound leads and outbound leads Doesn't matter the industry. I gave you 2 specific industry examples. You can find all the other different industry examples in our virtual training platforms. Make sure you subscribe by clicking the subscribe button so you get notified when I do more YouTube videos like this for you. Join our free Facebook group. Go to www.salesrevolution.pro. We should have a link on here somewhere, salesrevolution.pro. Right when you join the salesrevolution.pro Facebook group, because we've got thousands of entrepreneurs in there, thousands of salespeople like you, thousands of coaches, consultants, executives in there that want to sell more. Right when you join, check your DMs, because we're going to message you. Some of my team's going to message you a free training called the NEPQ 101 mini course. It's going to give you a list of different questions and phrases you can use in any sales situation. That alone is going to help you sell more than what you're doing now. And we go live in the Facebook group about 3 to 4 times a week with different subject matter trainings, different Q&As, different client interviews that will also help you sell more. Join the Facebook group, salesrevolution.pro. See you there.